Guys, do you remember that video that was supposed to come out like forever ago that was like our review? Like back before the camera quality was actually kind of good? Yeah, I do remember that. Whatever happened to that video? Well, it's kind of just been sitting around for like a year. But anyways, we have it now. We're actually going to upload it. Wait, really? Like, the camera quality is not that good, and honestly, I don't know if people really want to see a review of us since we're kind of old by now. Yeah, but it's free content, so we're getting uploaded anyways. Okay then. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. But anyways, enjoy the video!
Hello guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be taking a look at all of these Jurassic World Dominion figures / one Dino Escape figure that I forgot to do a review of, so we're doing the review now. Let's get started with the video. First, let's start with the oldest, which is the Dino Tracker's Tanystropheus. And let me just angle the camera down a little bit. Okay, so first let's start with the box. There's the Dino Tracker logo, Tanystropheus, and the barcode. Dino, like nice little like escaping cage in the background. Then if you turn this around, you can see the other figures in the wave, which there was the Miragaia repaint, the Styracosaurus, and the Monolophosaurus. Shows off the action feature. And yeah, so that's for the Tanystropheus. This figure I've actually had for so long I actually started repainting it a bit. But let's actually start looking at the Tanystropheus. I only repainted it a little bit. Okay, so first up, I'm gonna mention the only part I repainted was the tail. I made it this like light kind of like whitish color, and I added this little part like basically up to here because the paint kind of stops right here on the Tanystropheus, and it's just blue for the rest of the thing. So I just painted it. But anyways, let's actually look at this. So first, it has this face, has a pretty nice face. Most people that review this figure say they do not really like the face, but honestly, I kind of like the face on this guy. They say it looks a little bit goofy, but in my opinion, it's still a good. If you open the mouth, which is a little bit tricky to do, it's a nice flesh pink color in there, and there's a nice tongue. Then it also has nice yellow eyes. Also, then as we move down the neck, we move down and there's some of these kind of like spiny things, and then you can kind of see like the rib cage texturing on the stomach and the skin flaps. You know, this one actually has really fine detailing. You can't really see it too well on camera, but the scales are very finely detailed and it's very hard to see them. You know, the feet are kind of webbed and they're really short squat legs, and also it's kind of webbed on the back legs. Then go down and then there's the tail. Let's move on to the action feature and the articulation. So the articulation on this figure is the jaw, of course. Then the neck can move up and down. This part of the neck can move up and down and stuff. And then this part of the neck can move up and down, but that's part tied to the action feature. The legs can move forwards, backwards, and outwards. Well, yeah, they can move outwards, but they're a little bit tricky to do, but yeah, they move outwards. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. They do that, and the back legs move backwards, forwards, and I think they move just barely outwards, but not enough to really be important. And then the tail moves, also, you can push down, but that's tied to the action feature. So when you push the tail down on this figure, it lunges the neck forward and downwards, so you can be like it's hunting fish. You can have it here, and you can just kind of press it down like this. You can have it as if your Tanystropheus is hunting fish. So yeah, real fast we're going to measure this. Okay, so we're going to measure this. This figure is about 4 inches tall in this position at the top of the neck. And then in this position also it's about 8 inches long. But if we stretch the neck out all the way, my hand's kind of in the way, it reaches to about 9 inches. So this is a pretty decent sized figure. We'll compare it to some things later in the video, but first let's move on to the next one, which we'll look at the Moros intrepidus. This is the Wave 3 Moros intrepidus, so this is the one with the better paint job in my opinion. Let's look at the box. It has a Jurassic World Dominion box, of course. Moros intrepidus. Then on the back, it shows off some other figures. And it has the red velociraptor, the beige, I believe that's Panthera, the Rajasaurus Panthera, the Moros, of course, and then the last one of Wave 3 that I really need to pick up is the Intrepidus. Then it shows this, the logo, the Dino Tracker logo. Let's actually get the Moros intrepidus out of the box. We're just gonna pull that out real fast. Okay, so here is our Moros intrepidus. First, let's start with the paint job, which it has a nice red around its eyes and nicely painted eyes with some yellow teeth. Which the inside of the mouth is a nice flesh pink tongue with a nice tongue detailing, of course. It also has a nice beige colored orange lower jaw. It has some of these kind of like frilly sail things along the back, and then also a little bit of that going down the tail. It also has a bit of wet white streaks down its leg. This figure has really nice colors and detail compared to the first one. The first one is kind of chaotic coloring, where on the other hand, this one has a nice coloring, especially since it has like just a red like end of tail and more of a brown color, looking more like the one in the movie. So the articulation is the jaw, the neck moves up and down, the arms move backwards and forwards, and they do not move outwards like the Tanystropheus, unfortunately, but the legs also move backwards and forwards and also do not move outwards like the Tanystropheus. The tail rotates, and that's about it. There's no action feature and stuff, but we can take a look at the scan code if I can pop that up. I don't know if I'll be able to get it up. Okay, there you go. I got it up. But we can take a look at its scan code at least. So anyway, there's its scan code if you want to add it to your app. In fact, let me get Tanystropheus where you can take a look at its scan code on the bottom of its foot. I'll probably have to put that in post. But yeah. Anyways, this figure measures around, let's see. It measures up to about 8 inches, which is a decent size for a figure. And it's much bigger than the one in the movie, but it's closer in size to how big it would have been in real life. Next, let's move on to one I actually just got today, so we're gonna pull that one in. The Miragaia. I'm not gonna go over the box too much since it's basically the same as the Moros intrepidus. All I'm gonna do is show you like the these were the first wave figures, and it has Velociraptor Blue, Miragaia, Moros intrepidus, and Sungopteryx, which I actually do have Sungopteryx, and I will pull that one in later. But anyways, here's the Miragaia. And let's get it out of the box real fast. Okay, so let's just cut the wires real fast. Okay, so I cut that. We're just going to pull it out of the box. And let's take a look at this figure. This is my first time taking a look at the figure out of the box. And it looks pretty nice. It doesn't have any paint on the tail, so I might add paint on there. Like, let the black go all the way out onto the tail. But besides that, it looks pretty good. So let's move on to articulation first, actually. The tail can swivel. Really swivels very nicely. The legs move forwards and backwards. They do not move outwards, along with the front legs doing the same, moving forwards and backwards and not outwards. The neck is on a ball joint, so it can go down and up. And it can turn turn like this. It does not turn side to side, so it's technically not on a ball joint. Then the mouth has articulation, so you can actually open this herbivore's mouth, which is always nice on a herbivore. We do not get jaw articulation on herbivores besides the large sauropods very often. It's always a treat when we get that. That's about it for articulation. The paint job doesn't have too much paint. It's honestly just the black going to around here. And then it has some white spines and then kind of this greenish color, which is kind of nice. And then this kind of white streak along the head right there. And little orange eyes. And then, of course, the inside of the mouth has a bit of pink and also the white teeth. But besides that, that's all the paint on Miragaia. Mattel pulls it off pretty good, so it still looks pretty good. But there's so many repaints I've seen people do with this figure where they don't change it too much. They honestly just kind of let the black go all the way back. And then they also maybe sometimes like paint some extra things onto the spines. But besides that, they don't really change Miragaia too much because it's actually a pretty nice figure. I'm surprised it took me so long to pick up this figure. Unfortunately, it took me so long. But I finally just got it today and I actually really like it. It's a really nice little figure. Let's move on to the last two. The extreme damages, which these are the two old extreme damages. Okay, Pyroraptor just fell out of the box, so we'll take a look at you first, Pyroraptor. We're going to do the box for Pyroraptor. As the extreme damage logo, Jurassic Dominion logo, the T-Rex, and then this. Then on the back, it shows the extreme damage pyroraptor, the other extreme damage like figures of quilmesaurus, which we have back there, and then the blue velociraptor and the Jurassic Facts logo. But then also, if you look in the back, it kind of has this fiery, ambery forest, which is always nice to see. So now that we've seen the box, let's look at the actual figure. So it has articulation, the legs move forwards and backwards. Surprisingly, since this is a little bit more of an expensive figure, I would expect the legs to move outwards, but they do not do that, unfortunately. The arms do go backwards, forwards, but they do also move outwards, which is always nice. The tail swivels, like always, but then the neck moves. I think the neck is actually on a ball joint, so you can kind of twist it like this, up and down, move it all around kind of if you want it. And then the mouth can open up. They did do get a little bit sloppy on mine, so the white paint leads a little bit onto the jaw, but it's not that bad. And then the inside of the mouth is pink, and then it has like some nice yellow, ambery eyes. For the action feature for the extreme damage figures, you can press this little button on top, which you can see right here. Press that on top, and it changes it to scarred to normal, scarred to normal. And honestly, this is one of the better pyroraptors. I'm pretty sure there's only 4 pyroraptors that come out, unfortunately. Well, one that's coming out soon. This is probably the second best one. The best one comes in the set with Kayla Watts. And then probably the second worst one comes in that set, but it's kind of this one, but not as good. And this one has better articulation, in my opinion, and a better action feature. And then there's a new one coming out, which is kind of chaotic colors. I kind of like the new one coming out, minus the yellow and legs. I'll probably put that on screen. But anyways, that's my thought on the Pyroraptor. And I forgot to measure Miragaia, so we'll do that real fast after we measure Pyroraptor. And Pyroraptor, in fact, measures in at about 8 inches. Let me, for a second, sorry, Pyroraptor, bring in Miragaia, which measures at 7 inches. And somehow, again, I also forgot to do the Jurassic Facts code. So here's the Pyroraptor's Jurassic Facts code, along with Miragaia's Jurassic Facts code, which they hid this one good, right in there between those spines. So here's Miragaia, which that's always nice. Next, let's move on to the last one. Okay, so here's quilmesaurus. We already took a look at the box, basically, so we're just going to, well, Pyroraptors at least, and we're just going to kind of quickly look at this one. You can see Pyroraptor in the corner instead of quilmesaurus. And yeah, so just take quilmesaurus out of the box. Okay, so quilmesaurus actually has very little paint. Just green on the top, red jaw, and then the mouth and eyes are painted. The eye is really tiny, and it's actually painted really nicely. And I'm pretty sure it looks good on the other side, too. Teeth are painted pretty good. And the inside mouth is kind of a pink color, but you can't really see that well compared to the red jaw. And, okay, let's move on to the sculpt. It has a nice Abellosaurus-shaped skull, and a lot of crocodilian osteoderms on its back. And then you can also see its absolutely tiny arms, which Mattel love caring for the tiny arms on these Abellosaur figures. And it has skin folds down at the bottom, leading all the way down, and then the tail is nice and scaly textured. For the articulation, the legs move forwards and backwards, and the arms move up, down, and outwards. These tiny little things have so much articulation. And then the neck moves down and up, and then, of course, the jaw opens and closes. The action feature is the same as on the Pyroraptor, but you can see it kind of better since this one's more green. It can flash to, like, scarred. You can kind of switch it real fast. So, yeah, it actually makes a nice clip. Dinosaur ASMR toys. But anyways, let's take a look at the scan code. Here's its scan code. So, yeah. That is the quilmesaurus. Let me just bring all the figures in real fast. Okay, now that we have all these aligned, we can do some size comparisons. First, here's Songopteryx, like that I mentioned earlier. But it's a pretty decent size compared to them all. Next, let's move on to it compared to a that's not what I expected, but anyways, let's compare it to the Atrociraptor. If I can just get this figure to stand, Atrociraptor Ghost. But yeah, there's Atrociraptor Ghost. It's pretty much larger than almost every single figure here. The only thing taller than it is Tanystropheus, and that's only because of its neck. Next, here's it compared to a normal Velociraptor, which is the normal Velociraptor. Which, surprisingly, the normal Velociraptor is actually the only one out of the these figures that I actually have up here with the toe paint, surprisingly. Even this one, the Rajasaurus doesn't have toe paint. And I did not add toe paint to them, so Mattel gave toe paint to the Velociraptor only. That's kind of favoritism. Next, let's just do a human figure compared to all of them. Let me get this. Is gonna be hard to get at the stand. Ian Malcolm, please stand. Okay, there's Ian Malcolm compared to these figures. Then next is the Allosaurus, which completely dwarfs every single one of these figures. This is the extreme damage Allosaurus, and it dwarfs every figure. Completely. Then next, we have the one, the only, Cheese. Cheese is much larger than all these figures. In fact, Cheese is probably about that big compared to all the figures, and actually, surprisingly, it's only a little bit taller than Tanystropheus, which is a little bit shocking. Now let's wrap up this review. So basically, my thoughts on all of these figures is that, honestly, they're really good. The extreme damages are pretty good, and these figures are pretty good. Honestly, these figures actually probably the best paint-wise. These are best sculpt and articulation wise, and probably also action feature wise. And then this is best species wise, because like we don't get many Triassic non-dinosaur creatures, and whenever they do come out, usually people are not a fan of the way they look, yet we still buy them because, well, they're still pretty unique species. These are all great figures. I'll try to put links in the description for all of them, but I might miss a few. I'm probably just going to put in the most affordable ones. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.